Well, good morning. Hope you're having an awesome morning. So today, what we're about to do now is I am about to attach the lining to the corset top. So remember we did the boning. So now we're about to attach the lining to the top. Hope y'all having an awesome morning. I'm having a really good morning. Might have to depending on the time, I'm gonna try to see if I can make it to the fabric store to get the other yards to finish the skirt. Well, finish putting it together. I will have to wait on the criddling. So, and when you're sewing this, don't put your boning too close to the top and stop it around a ½ inch from where you're going to connect it. Because if you don't, what wind up happening is that when you connect the dress, right? When you wind up connecting the dress, what wind up happening is that boning sticks you in your ribs. Like it hurts. So you always stop it. Some people put casings on their boning. I haven't been putting casings on, or then they can burn it to make it smooth. But I noticed the best way is to kind of like stop it. Yeah, stop it when you do that. And when you get to where that sweetheart at, you pivot it. So I would say take your time when you're sewing. I feel like sometimes I used to be like really in a rush. So I'm really learning now to be way more patient. Take your time and do everything in steps. If you do it in steps, it'll be a whole lot better. Do it in steps. Like I said, I really want to make this my final goal. Like, I went to school for this, but I would like to, when I move in my place, we get the basement all set up, so I can have all the space I need to make these elite gowns. And that's kind of what I want to focus on. Just all of my sewing stuff. Okay, so a lot of times people will take them to turkeys. Turkey scared the hell out of me. It sounded like he was in the window. I know he's outside. So a lot of times people will take these curves and they'll cut so that when they turning it over, they don't get that poking up. So I'm scared to cut into the fabric because it's so little, so I'm just downsizing it. I don't want to use my scissors to cut boning. Yeah, I got special scissors for this boning. I don't cut boning with my scissors, not my shears. So I'm just cutting off any excess so when I go to turn it, and here they come with the lawnmower. It's finna get loud, so what I'm doing is any curves, anything that I gotta go around, any excess that's gonna get in the way, I am shortening it out. Shorten it out so I don't have that problem. So what I'm doing is just going around and looking for anything that will mess up the flip over, cutting everything down, and then we'll flip it over. And then we're going to secure a top stitch to it. Oh shit, I'm sewing on I got a pin that I sewed on top of. Okay, so we just flipping it. So okay, so now that I got it flipped, I'm looking at all the pieces. I will go at this time, and I got both pieces sandwiched together. So now what I would do at this time, I'll go and press this out. So we're going to press this down before I sew down my top stitching and stuff. So got to make sure everything is curving over fine. And then I'll go and we're going to press this down. So I'm going to go press it. I'll bring y'all aboard. I got to get the iron ready, and we'll press this out, so we'll be back. Okay, so the iron, I can't even talk, y'all, is ready. So now what I'm going to do is we're going to start to press everything out. This gravel steam iron, I also got off of Amazon. So like a lot of my products. So if you into the, you know, making clothes and you was wondering where I got this iron from, and sorry about my speech impediment. I know I don't say that right neither. I got it from Amazon. So this is a gravel steam iron that's made for, you know, like, so if y'all been watching, y'all notice that all the hats on the wall, I have also adapted to doing hats as well. So they use these gravel steam irons for hats, and I got it for the wedding dress, and it goes up on the, wow, I'm running out of space. Like I told y'all, we talked about that before. Like I'm literally running out of space. So I utilize every piece in this house that I can. So my iron is hanging on the door where the tube is running through and the water comes out. And I have a special filter on there, so I don't buy like distilled water or anything. I use that special filter. So yeah, I use that special filter. So what I'm doing is just getting all the seams, pressing it down good. I know when they get to this part, they be curving that really good, but like I told y'all, I'm still learning. So what I'm doing is getting everything in the way that I need it. And then I'll do a top stitch and sandwich everything together. Get off any so as you see, then y'all see how it's gonna fit when I put that corset in the back. So I love putting that fleece interfacing on, because it makes your bias way more durable. Okay, it makes that bias way more durable. So now I'm just lining up everything, pressing it down, because then I'll close the bottom of this, and then we'll put the grommets in the back. Okay, so I'm gonna show y'all this. So y'all see this gravel steamer, and this is the tube, this is the filter. So I be forgetting sometimes to turn it off, so I write on and off. So I'm turning the filter off now, because if you don't turn it off, you'll look up and it'll be leaking. So I pretty much utilize every space that I have, you know, in my home to do my crafts. I know they was saying when I logged back in, and I got somebody that had texted me a while back, and when I logged in to Instagram, and a lot of people was like, oh my God, I'm glad you're okay. You know how they spread rumors and say people was deceased. So I guess that's what they was kind of saying about me, when nobody would see me on TikTok anymore and stuff like that. But it just that, you know, for me, mentally, I just needed to kind of take care of myself, and I was going through a lot, and things was very emotional for me, and sometimes social media, it can get real bad for you at times, especially when you are, as y'all see, I dress a certain kind of way. So I dress a certain type of way. I've always dressed kind of sexy and kind of, so, you know, people, they get a image of you in their head and don't know you, and then they put a narrative, they'll put a perception about you, and you know, you got to be able to deal with it and be okay with it, and sometimes you can, but I felt like it had got overwhelmed. So for my mental health, I had to get off for a while to take care of things and stuff like that. So when people ask, will I go back to TikTok? No. And I logged into Instagram, because what I wanted to do is start putting my work up there, start adding my work and different things like that. So I'm active. So what I'm doing right now, when people ask, am I making dresses for anybody? Am I soliciting my hats to anybody? No, the hats are something I recently picked up. So now I'll say I probably got about 5 months. I'm getting all the things I need to make these hats and different stuff like that. So I would say that I'm in training. And these type of clothes, if y'all remember the year before last, I had just stepped over into formal wear and started to make formal dresses and stuff. So in order for me to be good at anything, I really have to be proactive. I have to practice. I have to understand what I'm doing, because I learned a lot of things from offline. So to be honest, I could be making something, but I'm still comprehending, because everything I learned offline. So now I'm watching designers from YouTube, from Africa, from all these different people, and taking each tip, you know, that I learned from them and putting it into something special for me. So when I do get to this point where I'm going to be making dresses and stuff for people that I'm 100% comprehending, understanding, I'm not afraid of it, because a lot of times you could do this stuff, and if you're afraid of it, you ain't gonna be, you know, good at it. So it's like getting the measurements down to a T. When you watch these people make these wedding dresses, and a lot of times they'll start on wedding dresses, a woman getting married, they will start on preparing her wedding dress a year before. Sometimes some people do it like that. They start real ahead of time. So I always notice at the back of them wedding dresses that they always had them dresses way bigger than the bride. And when I be looking at them wedding boutiques, and I was like, why do they got the back of that dress so big for this bride, because when you're doing a corset, you have the ability to pull that dress together. But if that bride been and gained weight from here and now, they ain't got to do a lot of alteration because they already gave themselves way more wiggle room. So once she come in for the final fitting, then they can close the corset, put the zipper in, and do her final fit. So I'm learning now to cut more. Don't be afraid, especially with this back zipper allowance, because when you go to sit, your body, just like a man, when you make clothes, if they got muscles, if they go to do this, they muscles flex. So a woman, when we go to sit down, our hips and buttocks spread, it gets wider than what it actually is. So that's why I was falling short at. So I wasn't giving myself enough wiggle room. And when I go to sit, a lot of the dresses that I was making for myself, I couldn't fit them because I was doing, my measurements, but wasn't giving myself enough ease, enough wiggle room. Because when you're dealing with stiff fabric, this fabric don't move. So you got to keep that in mind. So now I'm finna go and we're finna secure all these pieces down to make it even. And then the next video we'll be putting the eyelets in. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I went in and I stitched down like all of the top stitching and stuff. Okay, so then down at the bottom, as you see, you will have like this jagged edge stuff. So then I'll come in and I'll clean this up, get rid of all of this down at the bottom to make it even. And remember, this is going to be sandwiched to the dress. So I come in and I clean all of this up. I do have my hot knife going because remember, we're doing this a corset back. So I take that eyelet and go all the way through, and it makes the perfect hole for me. And all of the items that I use, like far as tools and stuff, I always prefer Amazon. Amazon, Amazon, Amazon. Okay. So I go in and I get off all of the jagged edges like that. So a lot of times some of this fabric can fray. So I take my torch. And I burn off any excess of thread or, rawness. It's going to be sandwiched in between the dress too. But that's what I do, okay? All right. So then the next thing I do is, now I decide on where we're going to put the eyelets in the back, okay? So you're not good with this, you use a ruler. So what I do, I look at it, I got my chalk, so I'm going to put an eyelet right here. 1. I'll be doing my fingers. 2. 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you need to go up a little bit. Probably about right here. So you see how I mark, well, I'm going to take that whole 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to look at the opposite side and line it up. Now I'm going to do the same thing. And putting that fleece on here, guys, that makes this more doable. So I know y'all be like, oh gosh, it might be hot. Not really. Because the whole dress ain't made of fleece. We just using the bias piece, the sweetheart. Okay, so I did it diagonal on each side. Lined it up. So that heat knife is smoking. So take the heat knife and I'm going to take it right through. See that? And it gives me the perfect hole. Now, I will say if you're using stuff that's flammable, be careful. So I'm using the interfacing and stuff that I've used before. So some fabrics can be flammable. So I would say do this part at your own risk. You could just use a hole puncher and stuff like that. But you see how I get the perfect grommet holes when I do this method. So if you not for sure if that fabric is flammable, I would suggest don't do what I'm doing. I've kind of did it a couple times and it's been fine. And I will say I used this hot knife before and I was making a chair. And I stuck it into the chair to kind of put the hole in it. And unaware that what that chair was made with was very flammable. And I'm not going to lie, it did catch on fire. And I have to run outside and put the chair out so that it don't cause a major fire. So I will say, know what you're burning. Definitely know what you're burning. So immediately, I unhooked this heat knife because this thing is so dangerous. Okay? So I see a little phrase right here on this end. Okay? So what I'm doing is just any excess, just getting it out. So now I have the eyelets ready to go into the back of this dress. I can now take out my grommets to put the grommets in the back of this dress. I can get prepared to do that, but this is the bias piece to this dress. See, this piece to this dress, and just wanted to show y'all like when I put it all together and different things like that. So now I'll just put the grommets in, and when I put the grommets in, and then I'm about to go to the fabric store because remember I'm going to get more yards. This ain't big enough, and then I'm still waiting on the crittling. So I'm finna eat me something. Jesus, sorry. Remember I told y'all about this hot knife. Still hot, and it fell. So you got to be real careful. Oh, sorry. Ooh. I'm sorry. You ever get burnt by a hot glue gun or hot knife? It definitely put a fear in you, because it be hot. Okay, so all right, so that would be the ending to this. I just got to put the grommets, and y'all see me with the grommet maker. And I think with this, instead of using gold, I think we're going to use silver. So this is the bias piece that goes to this. This is how it looked with the fleece, and it made this part more durable. There's no bra cuffs in it, just bony. And when I get it corset up right and tight, it's gonna fit amazing. And what I was gonna say, I'm not this size anymore. So the reason why I have to modify this, because this mannequin is 30 inches in the waist. So that's why when y'all seeing me redo this, and when I put it on, like when I take it off the mannequin, when I try it on the red, this be too big, because now my waist down at the bottom is not 30 inches, it's 26. My waist at the top is not 40 inches anymore. It's 36. 30 is 30, 38. It's either 37 or 38, but it used to be 40. So that's why when y'all see me take it off here and I put it on, it be wind up being wonky on me, because this mannequin now is bigger than me. So when y'all see me modify it, y'all see me take it in here to make it smaller. I'm taking these two seams to bring it in to make it smaller, because I'm no longer this size. So if you wind up going up and down in your weight, and if your mannequin, if you done made it, bought it and got it to that size, keep that in mind, because when you make your pattern, you got to remember to decrease it, because when you start putting it on, it's going to be wonky. Like, you're not going to be the size. I'm going to have the same issue with this dress when I get done putting it together and I got all this hardware. This dress is going to be too big in the waist, but I'm going to try to, with the corset, I'm going to pull it as tight, pull as tight as I can be. So remember, you can kind of get away with using that corset, but yeah, that's going to wind up being a little too big. So okay guys, thank you for watching, and that's how I finish completing this corset top. And I put the eyelets, and it also just make it way more durable. But keep in mind, if you're dealing with a fabric that is flammable, interfacing that is flammable, do not do what I did, because it will set on fire right in your lap. So I do it this way. I would suggest you guys do it this way. And if you do it, don't do it in a room, go outside. So therefore, if it catch on fire, you could just pour water on it right away and go from there. But it does make my eyelets way more durable. All right guys, talk to you later. Toodles. Okay guys, so I'm starting to use my grommet maker. So I'm gonna let you guys know something that I noticed. Okay guys, so I'm starting to put the grommets in, but I got a confession to make to y'all and let y'all know. And I've seen this in commercial clothes. Every time I've put my grommets in any of these things, I'm gonna be honest, the grommets be coming loose. So what I do is I take a little of this this B7000, and I put it around the hole when I'm putting the grommet in, and I do it that way, and I never lose a garment, because for some apparent reason, and the washer goes down, for some apparent reason, this stuff comes loose. It comes loose. It comes loose. So when I do it like this, I never get my grommets coming loose. I seal them first, put the glue around the hole before I seal it together, and then therefore, when your grommets is in, I never lose one. Like even in commercial clothes, I notice these grommets come loose. So just a tip for you guys to not go through that. I use B7000, and before I go to put the grommet maker in, I do this, and it keeps my grommets in while I never lose them, because they be coming out. So before I go to starting, I put it on the fabric, the glue on the fabric, and then when I sandwich it together, once it seals in there, it's pretty much in there. So I wanted to give y'all that tip too, because if y'all ever use a garment or had clothes that was done with the grommet, and you will notice that it comes loose. The grommets be coming loose in the back. That's what I do to reassure that that doesn't happen, okay? Alrighty guys, so thank you guys so much. You go from there, and I got the grommet maker also from eBay. It was like $80, and it came with silver grommets, gold grommets, small to medium to big, and it was a really nice kit. But it always come loose, so add a little glue before you start using the grommet thing. So now that I done put the glue on, I'm not right away gonna attach it. I'm gonna let it dry, and then once it dry, I'll put it back on the mannequin, because I wanted to get the shape, put the shape back in there. So the longer it sits on there, the more it gets that sweetheart shape back. So I hope that this helped you guys to make the perfect corset bags, how to keep your eyelets in there. So these is the tips that I use, and it works out amazing for me. Thanks for watching. Toodles.